Okay, we're going to stand up, say the pledge. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. First, we're going to start out with the public forum, the open public forum. Is there anyone here that would like to speak?
That's good, thank you.
I'd like to speak on County 57. You want me to speak now or wait till we get there?
Yes, because we probably won't be talking to the audience when we decide.
Well, I guess,
Go ahead, you got your 2 minutes.
I do believe sometime Winthrop is gonna grow, and I think the growth is gonna go that direction, and I would like to see the city council support what the county wants to do. That's all I gotta say. Somebody else can have my extra minute and a half.
I'll have more than that.
Is there anyone else out here that would like? Okay, if not, we'll move ahead. We'll get an approval of the agenda. I'll start out with Don. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, sir.
Lyle?
No.
Pete? Julie?
Yes, I believe you all have a copy of this in front of you. I'd like to add resolution number R21820. It's a resolution allowing the city of Winthrop to enter into a funding agreement with the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency.
And we'll talk about that later to explain. Okay? Bill?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Bob?
No, sir.
And Jenny, was there anything else? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Bob, seconded by Dale. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, moving on. We have no public hearings. We'll start out with the resolution, what's that? Oh, consent agenda, I'm sorry. Consent agenda, has everybody had a chance to take a look at everything?
Wow, somebody's in a hurry tonight.
Yes.
Okay, you just state it, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. On Jenny's contract, is that a 2-year contract? Do we do that 2 years?
I believe it's 2 years.
Three.
Is it 3 years?
Or 3-year contract? Okay, the only thing I would like to do is, remember we were talking about negotiating insurance. The full is all right for this time, but the next time the contract is up, council.
We kind of talked about that too, Jenny, to make sure that we have an opportunity to talk about the insurance
Yes.
next time around.
Yes, and Melissa is gonna make sure that they come and you guys are involved in the process this time.
Great.
So that's,
Yep.
I'll make a motion, we accept the consent as,
Second.
There's a motion made by Dale, seconded by Julie to go ahead and approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution approving County Road 57, a new county state aid highway designation. And we also have the resolution approving county project within municipal corporate limits.
Mr. Mayor, the county kind of put that project to bed when they passed their 5-year plan. They passed it amended, so it's only the first half mile is going to get paved. They're not going to do the rest of it, so that's kind of a tablable item. However, if we don't act on it, if we act favorably on it at any point in the future, the county can do whatever they want to do once they make that a county state aid highway. So I guess I would recommend we vote no on it or table it indefinitely. As I said, the county has put it to bed. They passed it.
yeah, that was in the, Krugel had that article.
Yep.
in the paper.
The county has,
That's how that
the
affects.
county has basically said they're not going to do that project. They are going to do a mill, complete mill, and widen the road 2 feet by going down 4.5 inches. That's what they budgeted for. So basically, the only thing on the table that really applies to us tonight is whether we want to allow them to actually work on their road within city limits. The county
second
state aid highway is kind of a dead issue. But I think we should, if we're going to vote on it, don't forget, down the road, once we vote for it, they can do whatever they want to do without our input.
Don, don't you think we should have the county here to?
They were invited.
They've dropped it.
So I assume this was at their request,
Yeah.
that we consider this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably wanted us to either act on it or put it
This is what they gave us way back at the start of the
Yeah,
summer.
yes.
And I just felt it's time we act on it. And if that's the case, the resolution approving the County Road 57, a new county state aid highway designation, if that has been decided by the county, it's up to you. If you'd
So
still
what's in
like
the
to.
county budget or planned right now?
400,000 to cut up and widen what's currently paved by 2 feet by dropping it 4.5 inches. Not to pave the gravel portion, not to widen not to purchase any easement to widen what's currently there.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if we agree
To,
to the resolution, they're still gonna cut it and widen it,
we
right?
have 2 resolutions before us. We have one agreeing to make it a county state aid highway.
Highway.
If we do that, they can do whatever they want down the road. The second resolution in front of us is whether we're going to allow them to fix the road as is, because it is their road, it is within city limits, so we have to agree to allow them to rebuild the road.
So that resolution I would favor.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah, well, of course.
So the first resolution, and they're just asking, do we want it to become a county state aid highway where they could widen it?
Right.
And then the other one is to continue to,
Just go ahead and
Just to
overlay
fix it,
yeah.
The existing.
the existing road, yeah.
We got a lot of people here that are from County Road 57.
So if we would approve it and let them go ahead with the county state aid designation, we have no input after that
Nope.
point
No.
in the
No,
future?
that's,
It's theirs, they can do whatever they want to do with it.
And
which I,
that would be just from,
That would be the whole road.
A Street all the way to 19.
Once
From
you turn,
8th Street.
yeah, all the way up to 10. Once you turn it into a county state aid highway, they can do whatever they want to do with it without our input.
yeah, and I don't know why you would even consider that motion at this point when it's not even part of the
Exactly.
5-year plan. If it comes to a point where they're actually gonna do it, well, I'm sure a lot of stuff's gonna have changed and you're going to want
okay,
to know that stuff before you would vote.
Yeah.
yeah.
So your recommendation is to,
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't understand why the
right.
council's even considering the motion at this point with it not in the 5-year plan.
Right.
So, yeah, my recommendation would be vote no.
On the county state aid,
Yeah, but vote yes on allowing them to
Fixing
do
the
their
road, yeah.
work.
Fix the road.
if they go with the plan as is, we do not have to move any utilities.
Yeah,
So, and I think that was our major concern,
right,
was the utilities, so, yeah.
okay.
So you said to vote no on the first one, do you mean not vote on it at all?
No, just on the county state aid.
Right, that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about.
Just
Yeah,
table that one.
well, I think you could do either way. You could either vote no.
I'll
or just
entertain a
take it
motion
out.
on the first resolution, making it a county state aid highway.
Well, I don't even know why we're voting. I guess.
Okay, if there's no one's going to make a motion, then it dies.
Yep.
Now I'll entertain a motion to go ahead and approve the county project within municipal corporate limits, which is just the overlay.
It's the mill and
existing.
overlay and the 2 foot without gaining easement, yeah.
Right.
So moved.
Motion made by Dale, seconded by Lyle. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion?
Don't
If
we want to
not,
get their opinion? The people that live up
we've
there?
had we did that earlier at a couple of other meetings.
They must be here for a reason.
They want to know how we're going to vote. Yeah, we actually sent letters out to them.
Yeah, we sent letters to
Okay.
everybody inviting them.
Is there any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank him,
415 North Hennepin.
thank him.
I can take that, Mr. Mayor, if you want. So today, the owner of 415 North Hennepin did sign the deed, given title of the property to the city, so the paperwork is taken care of. However, even as we speak right now, the owner is still getting stuff out of the house. We've agreed to give her the rest of the day to get the stuff out. She will stop by City Hall tomorrow, will give us the keys.
Answer it.
And then, once she gives us the keys, we will give her the check for the remaining amount. So, now the council will have to decide what you want to do with the property and whether you want to put it up for sale. or whatever. When we were talking about this before the council meeting started, I mentioned that if it was me, the decision maker in this, I think after getting the keys, I would go in with Darren and just to see how bad the situation is. After doing that, then I would probably make a determination of whether we got to spend some money to clean it up. That's with the assumption that you're going to sell it, because if you're going to sell it, people are going to want to go inside.
Right.
And I think you're going to want it to at least be halfway presentable
Right.
to be bringing people in. However, if you're just wanting to sell it to someone to tear it down, then those concerns probably aren't relevant.
Well, we're going to try to sell it. What,
Yeah. If they want to tear it down after we sell it, fine.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
I
them,
gotta
not
ask,
the city tearing it down.
what did we pay for it?
18.5, there were some back taxes. Do we want to set a minimum? Okay, how do you want to sell it? Do we want to just say we're going to have sealed bids at a certain meeting? Do we want to have an auctioneer? How would you people like to handle that?
I would like to put it up for sale through a real estate person.
Yeah.
And invest the money that we got in it for a while.
If you put it up to a realtor, and then we're gonna have some fees on it.
Yeah.
So we'd raise the price to cover
Oh.
that, I suppose. I'd like to know what condition the house is in before we do anything.
That
You know, I
project was
mean,
for the way it was,
It's hard to know,
not the way it is now. Their resolution,
like Don
or
said,
how it was
you know,
back then, not
get
now.
there and check it out
That's gotta
and
get changed.
see how much more money we
It's
have
gotta
to
be for what the
put
terms are
into
now.
it,
If we need to.
I'll email.
if we have to make it presentable for people.
But if we did put it for sale, if we wanted to do it ourselves and we sell it as is there a reason to have a realtor involved?
I don't think so.
You don't have to, definitely, if you just want to sell it as is.
Can you sell a house as is?
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh, yeah.
Could we set a minimum bid and do
That's-
sealed
was
bids?
one of my questions.
I mean, and if, we can still choose to reject
Yeah,
All
Yeah.
bids?
bids and go a different route, but I think that would be the least effort and the,
sealed
Leave
bids to be
money
open at the
involved.
meeting, yeah. And with a minimum of what we have into it.
Minimum bid 25,000, right?
Well, no.
What we
I
have
think
into
you
it.
should be able to recover most of what you
We should be
get.
able to
Yeah.
have all that.
You should.
I don't think you want to accept $1,000.
Oh,
Well, if that's what
No.
we've been doing, that's
I
been
know.
our pattern, you know.
And just keep in mind, you could just say you're going to take sealed bids, reserve the right to reject all
Yeah.
bids, and
Yeah.
then you wouldn't even have to set
Yeah.
a minimum if you want to leave your options open.
Right.
yeah, I like that idea.
So clean it, don't clean it?
Don't
I
spend
think
any
we
money.
need to go in there and look at
Yeah.
it to determine if it needs anything. I mean, any cleaning out.
I'm sure there'll
going
be
in there
some
with
stuff,
Darren?
but.
What's that?
You going in with Darren?
I wasn't
No,
planning on
I'm
it.
going in.
Karen's got gas masks.
Okay, so just to keep things moving, what we're looking at doing now is we are going to, now that we have the deed, we'll go in, you'll have Darren take a look at it,
Wednesday or Thursday's coming.
okay?
I'll let you
Determine,
know.
yeah, just determine whether there's anything we need to do that has to be moved out or whatnot. And then not consent, but the feeling of the council right now is to put it up for sealed bids after we, when do we want to be opening the sealed bids? Do
Next
we
meeting.
want to wait until next month, or we wait?
Next meeting, open
Yeah,
them up,
next, I
sell
gotta
it.
have, go in there, see what you got.
I am gonna call Gaylord Sanitation though, as soon as I have the keys and have them clean the garbage up outside.
Okay,
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
good.
Is she going?
Yeah, the dumpster pile,
Almost.
yeah.
and the feeling is at this time, you do not want to set a minimum bid?
No, I think we just put it sealed bids and.
If
have the
somebody's
right to
interested-
Refuse all bids.
Somebody's interested, they know, we've said in a public meeting what
Right.
we've got into it, it'll, you know.
Should I be taking them inside if they wanna go inside?
That's the other question.
I would say people should be able to, if the building
I
inspector
think they
says
should
it's
be
safe
able to
go
look at
in,
it.
I think people
Yeah,
need
if
to be able
Darren
to
says
go
it's
inside and
safe
look. Yeah,
to walk through. no.
If we lose a few $1,000s, that's better than if we had to tear it down.
Yeah.
Right?
or go to court.
So we should advertise it for what,
It'd cost
3
you
weeks?
another
or-
30,000.
What do we need to do? Advertise it, do we need to advertise it 3 weeks?
Well, there's
2
no
weeks,
legal
yeah.
requirement for this. You can set whatever parameters you want,
So the
so.
next meeting is.
I think advertising it for,
Or November
I'm thinking
5th.
I think advertising, putting it in the paper for a few weeks would be fine.
Cutoff is November 1st. It gives you plenty of time. That's a Thursday. Or you can go
And-
for the 2nd, which is Friday.
Yeah, we'll probably do Friday at 5 o'clock.
Friday at 5 o'clock, November 2nd.
And then the bids would be opened at the council meeting in November.
4th.
Okay, everybody clear on that?
So.
Darren will be going in, taking a look at it, see if haul any other junk out. If not, we'll be advertising it for the next few weeks. If somebody wants to look at it, Jenny?
One clarification, I mean, if he has to haul any other junk out, is there a limit? I mean,
What? What do you mean haul any junk out?
said,
cost-wise,
if we have to haul any other junk out, what am I allowed to do and what am I not allowed to do? Because I don't want there to be any confusion.
I would say no more than what, one roll-on, roll-off should handle it.
That's what, 500 bucks?
Well, and who's gonna
Yeah,
haul
who's
it
going to
out?
do it? That's
They're
the
about
question.
6 for household garbage. Because I know the company that I used was $6.50 for household garbage, but
Okay, yeah,
it's cheaper for construction garbage. The guys, a couple guys in the audience might know what a 20-yard dumpster goes for. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on a spot. I would say I wouldn't have a problem with the cost of one 20-yard dumpster.
Right, but what about who's going to be doing it?
fill it dumpster.
Oh, yeah. Well,
City
Gordy?
council.
I'd like him to stick around for a little while yet.
Troy?
Well, would we,
Or should we
Yeah.
go in and assess it and,
let's take a look at it.
and we'll kind of, could you give me can they give me a dollar limit? I can't exceed $1,000 or?
That would cover dumpster and some cleanup money, so.
Let's say not to exceed 1,000. Okay, one more time. It is our house. You're going to have Darren go in and take a look at it. You're going to assess whether or not you need to clean things out. If it does, she has not to exceed $1,000. You're going to be advertising it for the next few weeks. At the council meeting, we will open up the bids. Do we need any type of a waiver to let anybody in that house?
Generally, you don't, but depending on what the situation is inside, we might want to consider it. How about I'll just communicate with Jenny and we'll just come to that decision
Okay.
ourselves. based on
I'll
what
talk
the
to you
facts
after,
are.
yeah, after Darren and I look at it.
Okay, that's consent of the board?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Lyle would be a natural, he's just across the street.
There you go, Lyle. We'll throw you the keys.
You guys are really kind.
Okay, the next thing we have a dog park project.
We have the opportunity to inherit a dog park, a piece of property who the owner is willing to donate to the city, but it has to be for a dog park. It's a little over 3 acres. I did some research, the park committee met and we talked about it and they directed me to do some research. I called New Ulm and those are the costs in your packet is what New Ulm paid for, it's a lot smaller park.
Fueled by the.
Yeah, can you,
was a
no,
lot.
no, it's on Sleepy Hollow
Yep.
Road, correct?
It's really,
There's a house on the property right now. There's people living in the house, which would become our tenants until they are supposed to leave. We would have to annex the property. We'd have to clean it up. I did talk to Troy, the house can be burned. But yeah, there's a few steps that have to go along, but the person who wants to donate it to us wants it done now. If we don't want it, she wants to get rid of it before the end of the year. So I have to call her tonight after the meeting and let her know what you decided.
So there's a house, are there any other outbuildings here?
Yes, there is a
Is the one I'm
shed.
thinking about then, yeah.
So that would have to be taken down also?
I guess the shed's in fairly decent shape.
Is it something we could use for storage?
No,
No.
no.
I
was
see,
on the park committee. I mean, when I look at the list of expenses that New Ulm had, our proposed area is much bigger. I just don't think we have it in the budget. I think it's a really well-intentioned thing, and I don't want to say, you know, we want to refuse a gift,
Right.
but I think this would just cost us a lot more than it would bring in as an asset to the
As a
community.
benefit, yeah.
And I'm not sure the neighbors, we'd have to get some,
It's true.
I mean, I don't know if I'd want to.
What does a dog park all consist of?
A large fenced
Grass.
area,
Large grassy
grass,
fenced-
some
I mean,
humps and hills for
you
them to
just
run
take your
on.
dog and bring it out anytime and let them
Yeah,
run?
pretty much.
Well,
They
it would
usually
have to
it,
be
yeah.
regulated,
Yeah.
you know, and I've talked to them about, like, when you get a dog tag, you get a card that you can scan to get in and out of the fence. You know, your dog has to be licensed, you have to clean up after the dog, so we have to have, you know,
A
just
disposal area.
disposal areas, that's the good way, nice way of putting it.
now, it looked to me like
a little
there's different fencing and so on for different sized dogs.
Yes,
Yeah, she wants small
seen
dog
that.
area, large dog area, so you'd have to have 2 Sally ports.
yeah.
Okay, do you want to make that a motion to,
Would there be any liability to it?
yeah,
Yes.
Just like a normal park,
I
yeah.
also have to tell you.
we own it?
Yeah, I would,
Yeah.
like I said, I really, I don't want to give the impression that the city is not interested in considering gifts and donations, but I think this would just be
I think we should
cost prohibitive.
send her a nice thank you letter for thinking of the city and appreciate her offer, but at this time, would just respectfully would decline.
Do we need to make that a motion?
Yeah.
So are you making that a motion?
That's a motion.
To not
To
accept the
decline.
offer, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second.
And a second by Dale.
And I'm a dog person, so
So is there any further discussion on the parks? Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
I,
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I will call her when we're
I'd
done.
like to see one, but to clean up.
Okay, Jenny, I'm going to throw this one at you.
Okay, full-time utility person. The admin committee met last week, and we discussed hiring another full-time person, hopefully starting January 1, to help train underneath Gordy. Gordy is going to be retiring probably within 12 months, and Troy is doing a great job, but I don't want to leave Troy hanging. And we have a potentially large project coming next summer, and I think the more hands-on knowledge they can learn from Gordy while he's here, the better. This person would be paid the same way as Troy out of the utility, electric, water, and sewer until Gordy retires. Then they would transition into public works at that time. So the admin committee agreed that we should present this to the council for consideration. So it would be my intent that we would advertise, around, you know, have interviews sometime the first week in December to have them, or have them hired December or starting January, or starting at the January meeting. I had a timeline, but I don't have it with me.
Any discussion on that?
Of course.
I knew it would be you, Pete.
I know. I was given this kind of a lot of consideration. And I guess I am of the opinion, my opinion, until I get a date when Gordy is going to retire, I'm not ready to hire anybody. The second thing is, what Gordy does, you're going to have to train him with a little bit more than Gordy, I think, and it would be probably a 2 or 3 year process. So the rush to get somebody aboard right now, I think is, it's important that we have a person, but it's not important that we gotta do it right now, I don't think. And I would be, thinking over that position, I think the big thing that scares people away is the electrical part. And I think that we're gonna, whether we like it or not, we're gonna have to hire somebody with the licensures.
I don't know where we're gonna find
Well,
somebody with the
that I would say
licensures.
that we start probably advertising, but I'm saying is, you know, if if you're gonna hire another man and then have to pay another guy to train him, I don't know, what, $2,000 a month, plus help them with their tests and everything, I'm just saying is, I guess, my feeling is I would go after somebody with a license.
Well, we're gonna be doing that training with,
Troy's gonna be, Mike Willets is actually coming tomorrow to meet with Troy to discuss the on-site, on-demand program. And you can't do anything with 2 guys. You have to have 3. OSHA requires 3 guys. So, I mean, it'd be great if we could hire a lineman, but the reality of it is that the REAs and the private-owned utilities are stealing all the linemen because they pay way better than the private,
Well, sure.
than the
and
public.
I know you're gonna have to pay. What I'm saying is either you pay up front or you pay
In the back, yeah.
on the back end, so.
And like I said, Gordy could walk out the door tomorrow theoretically, and then,
But I don't think he'd do that.
I don't think he will either, but
But
it depends on the day.
and I think a lot of the training that we're talking about, you know, I understand with the electrical, yeah, there's training there that Gordy can show him, but that's not the same as being trained in it. But it's a lot of where everything is located underneath the ground.
Well, that's kind of mapped, isn't it, Gordy?
Most of it is,
Most of
yeah.
it is, yes. There's maps, and they're tagged. I've been, when they work, all the lines are pretty much tagged, so
Not yet.
but most of them are, as to which goes, what goes where. I mean, it's not like we're in the dark ages with candles, you know.
part of our thought process, though, too, was, you know, even if Gordy has a reasonable amount of time, he says, you know, I want to be done in a month, which is not an unreasonable amount of time. That doesn't give us enough time to get somebody in that position, and that leaves Troy.
And we don't,
On his
and we
own.
don't know how long Oscar's gonna stay either.
But I'm saying too, I guess and then I'll quit, I don't know how much training Gordy plans to give this guy in the first place.
And I
I'm
don't,
not being negative towards Gordy, I'm just saying is.
no,
I
but
don't
just
know.
working together with him, you learn stuff.
Yeah.
The other side of the coin, Pete, is yes, it is a 2-year process to get this person fully trained. And let's say, you know, Gordy decides to leave next October. We got a year's worth of training on this guy, or gal, excuse me, this person, where, you know,
Well,
Gordy
I-
gives us a month's notice and we hire somebody the day he leaves, we have no training on that person.
I'm not sure what the training is gonna involve. I mean, to me, training means you're going to a vocational school and you're learning.
I understand that.
No,
Period.
the training
To get
is,
your license.
the training is, like, right now, we have Joe coming in 4 hours a week to train Troy in the water and sewer. Next March, he'll train for his sewer
Yep.
certification, he'll be done. Next January of 2019, he'll be starting his electrical. That's a 4-year program, where the MMUA comes out here and trains Troy on our equipment in Winthrop. And they go and work with other towns as well. So, you know, along with that, he'll be learning our system, and he'll be able to train, you know, somebody in as they come up and start with the sewer and learn the water, and then move into the electricity.
Like I say, my experience has been gonna involve a lot of electricity, and
Yeah.
unless you get somebody that's not afraid and wants to do electricity, I think you're wasting your time, but.
Well, and that's how we advertised, I mean, Troy knew when he was coming in that he was getting hired for electrical work. You know, that was part of the job description when he came, but, yeah, it's,
Well, the idea was to have more cross-training with all of our employees, so that we didn't have to rely on one employee, that there would be
My
a couple of
question-
other ones that would be
My
prepared.
question just is how much cross-training are we getting and how much has occurred, and I don't know.
right now, we don't have any, because when Gordy was hired, he was hired as a public works director, and he worked in the streets. And then he got the electrical added on to him. He's never had to do water and
No,
sewer.
but I'm talking about like, has this Troy been working on electricity too with the water? or-
He's starting in January, so when he's done with his sewer, he'll pick up the electric. So he's not learning all 3 at the same time. Because the sewer's only a 1-year program. So then he'll start the water and electric.
But wouldn't the new person be going through the training at the same time Troy would be?
We could. I just didn't want Troy to get overwhelmed, so I thought it'd be easier to ease him into the electric, work with Gordy for a while, kind of feel out the system, finish his sewer certification, you know, otherwise you're jumping into electric, water, and sewer all at once.
That's a lot all at once.
But you guys can structure it however you want.
I said,
No, I think, and I agree with you, yeah.
Less than a year. Less than a year.
Except I understand you want to come back and push snow, though? Is that?
And there's that too. They need to
Good.
learn snow
Yeah.
equipment and thank you very much for that.
I think there's more to it than just the, you know,
Drivers training.
structured training programs. I think there's a lot that
well, I
people
agree
can
with
learn
some of
from
that, but I'm
working
just
with
saying
the
is I
existing
think we
staff.
should hire somebody
Yeah,
to-
Gordy's not gonna sit down and stand in front of a whiteboard and, you know, teach them how to do it. You work by,
He's going to be doing it. The
Yeah.
new person will be doing the work.
and I just, with this potential project coming next year and Gordy, if he leaves and then Troy's sitting here not knowing, and he's got nobody to help him, I think
Well,
we
if-
could lose another employee and be
If
stuck
we
here
have
with nobody.
a big project, don't we hire that out? Don't we have?
We still need
There's still a lot of-
staff,
Yeah, there's a lot of
Well,
demand on the
Gordy did
existing
a
staff.
lot on 8th Street, and
right.
very much
It's,
involved.
I think it protects the city. I don't like the idea of hiring another person like this either, but in the long run, I think it's,
And if you have someone who's already hired and has learned a little bit already, it might even save us money in the long run, because if Gordy would leave quickly or, you know, without adequate time to plan, then you gotta go with, you know, a temp or something, and we're gonna pay more for that. I think this is good long-term planning.
and the cross-training. That's something we haven't done before, but we do want all of our employees to understand all the different systems.
Right, because coming in, everybody's gonna be, there is no more water and sewer department, doesn't touch the electric, and the
Right.
electric stays out of the water and sewer department.
You want a motion?
Yep.
I move that we move ahead hiring the full-time utility person.
Second,
Motion made
second.
by Julie to go ahead and hire a second utility person. The second is by Dale. Is there any further discussion?
Can we afford it?
It won't be coming out of our, it comes out of water and sewer, so it won't affect our,
The electric and the water fund can afford it.
is there any further discussion?
And just to clarify, this is not gonna be, it's not like we're adding this position in perpetuity. We're adding someone to train under Gordy, and then when Gordy retires, we'll be back to the same number of employees we have now.
Correct.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure everybody's
Yeah.
clear on that.
Yes. Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same
Aye.
sign. Motion carries. Okay. Walking paths along A Street.
There's a quote in your,
Is that for 13,000 or something?
that was how much the one they just got done.
Oh, okay.
And so we have,
18.5, wasn't
pardon?
it? 18.5.
That
Eh,
much?
Yeah, for the new one, which we have just about enough in our walking path fund to do it. We might be, go short or long, depending on the exact numbers. And if you want, they're actually done, but he's not gonna charge us for moving equipment back and forth. That is what it
I
is.
did-
He's
that
got
was
it
just the reason I
parked out
brought it
here.
up, so.
Oh, yeah, he's probably waiting for his check. But anyway, if you want to go forward with it, he's more than happy to do it. It probably won't get done till next year at this point anyway, I don't know. So did you know if he's going to do it this year yet, if we?
I would let it wait till next year and have it done,
I think
Yeah.
you're right.
see how the thing goes.
I just threw it up as an idea,
Okay.
so.
Well, as long as he was in town, I
Yeah,
thought if he
yeah,
wanted to
because
do
what
it.
was the original cost on looking at putting a sidewalk over there?
44,000.
so-
So yeah, this is way cheaper.
And it ties all the paths together. People can actually loop around down the park.
Right.
And a lot of people walk on A Street, so. I think it
Yeah,
would
we
be-
don't have to do anything, that's fine.
It was just an idea. so.
I'll bring it up next summer.
And I think Gordy's right. We should wait a year, let the other one settle in.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to move on to a resolution that was put on by Julie. Why don't you go ahead and explain that?
This was brought forward at the EDA meeting. You wanna,
Sure.
okay, I don't wanna,
Landon and Braden Lana Messner and Braden Knobloch approached me about a project they are working on. They are buying the Winthrop Motel. I did some research and found a workforce housing grant application that they qualify for. They will get, I think it's 138,000 they can apply for 25% of the project cost, which is $138,000. They need a match, $1 for every $2 that they get in grant funds, which is $69,375. Winthrop Opportunities is having a meeting tomorrow morning to see if they would be willing to be the 2-for-1 match for this grant application. This resolution in front of you will allow us to be the fiscal agents for the state money and for the Winthrop Opportunities money and to work with them on this project going forward. The reason we have to rush is because it's due October 11th is the deadline for the grant. And so, and it's quite an extensive application process.
That's for
so-
that motel project, you said?
Yes, they are looking at putting, how many apartments? 10 apartment buildings in there, 2-bedroom
Apartment units.
apartment units.
Okay.
So it'll be 1 3-bedroom, 4 2-bedrooms, 3 2-bedrooms, and then 6 1-bedrooms.
So this is basically allowing us to be the fiscal agent for this grant and apply for the grant on their behalf working with Winthrop Opportunities.
So we're not on the hook for anything, we're just the,
Have you
just
looked
the
at the
pass
building?
through.
Yes,
Yes.
They own the building?
Pardon?
Did they bought the building?
they're in the process.
Is the structure sound enough to do it? You know, there was a fire out there, all that stuff.
Project was strongly supported by the E EDA.
And they're here if you guys have any questions. for them. And they're coming to the Opportunities meeting tomorrow also. So. And this would be contingent, passing this resolution is contingent on Winthrop Opportunities agreeing to put in those funds.
So we're looking for a motion to go ahead and pass the resolution contingent upon Winthrop Opportunities approving their funds.
Well, I brought it, so I'll make it.
There's motion made. Seconded. Motion made by Julie, seconded by Lyle. To go ahead and approve the motion, or the resolution. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not,
They don't even want to talk.
They'll be talking tomorrow.
we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Good luck, boys.
That's it.
Does that mean the trailer house will leave?
That I don't know. I haven't gotten into that too much.
Okay, we're going to move on to the city administrator, EDA.
Just I gotta talk again.
And it can't come back when they wanted to take it.
Let's see, what did I do this month? Oh, working on the electric service territory. And we're not, we're in the process. It's been a lot of meetings, I've learned a lot. Ms. Brennan is currently working with McLeod Co-op Power. They sent their information to STAR to get an assessment done, and we're kind of waiting to hear from that. I had a phone meeting with Lauren Blank with MMPA. Pete, are you coming on Wednesday up to school?
Yeah.
9 o'clock? They're coming out to do some curriculum with the school on energy and with the solar panel, and they have some new curriculum. Scott Keister's working on materials for the park pavilion. We met last week. We're in the process. Darren came and kind of told us what we needed for a base structure, and we're working on gathering our materials together. We're hoping to have it done by Farm City Fun Fest next summer. Troy and I attended a meeting in Hutchinson about the chloride issues, and we are in the process of renewing our permit. So they had some good information on reviewing the permit, and they would be willing to help us make sure that there isn't anything in our permit that shouldn't be before it's finally accepted.
What does it have to be submitted, the permit?
It's been submitted.
Oh, it has been.
It was submitted in, 2015? Yep. Yeah, we're operating on an expired permit right now.
Oh, okay.
So we're waiting for, because this chloride is such an issue with a lot of other cities, most cities are running on an expired permit right now. Because while they decide how to address this problem. Is there anything?
No, there was 96 other communities invited up to Hutchinson for this. It's both salty parameters and, like you said, chlorides and It's basically to do with water softeners and, you know, just salty discharge.
And how to control it. Let's see, we're working on the automated metering. The guys are gonna read the meters, not next week, the following week. They will be knocking on Pete's door. And Dale wants to know how long it takes.
Who? Oh, yeah, I do, yeah.
So hopefully at the
I was thinking
budget,
about something Pete asked.
the budget work session, we will have all of our information gathered and we can present it to the council for consideration, maybe at the November council meeting, if you choose to go that route. The comp plan, you all have a copy of the draft comp plan. We're gonna be discussing it at the planning commission, October 15th, if you wanna come, if you have anything you want addressed. You're invited to come to that planning commission meeting to discuss it then. Brian Petzel will be there, to answer questions. He's coming next week. He and I are gonna meet and just kinda go over it before the meeting.
That's the 16th,
15th is it?
15th, Monday
What
night?
time?
Yeah,
What time do they meet?
5 o'clock. I'm working on getting a new right-of-way policy together, just to update ours. And I'm also trying to get together job description guidelines for the committees going forward. EDA stuff, I worked on a new brochure. I stopped into Daisy Learning Center and Immortal Cuts, introduced myself, dropped some information off. Roger Hahn's working on getting me a bid for the Bauer Building. Aaron Walton is now taking over November 1st. Surprise, surprise. And you have the letter I got this morning. He's gonna be at the next EDA meeting, getting a loan to help with the purchase of Dave Shower's business. I'm working on a business retention and expansion course through the U of M that started last week. I finished Music in the Park grant. We applied for Prairie Lakes grant for Christmas in the Country that was approved, so they will be getting that money. I attended some meetings, and Barb Johnson approached me last week. She would like the EDA to help her sell her business, so I'm gonna be working on that.
Okay,
And that's it.
very good. Any questions for Jenny? If not, Don, is there anything that you had?
No, sir.
Don, thank you for all your years of service, and we certainly thank
Is this
Shell
your
Law
last meeting?
Office.
It is.
You're not gonna come to the work session just for funsies?
Come on. Come on, Don.
Now you can sit on the other side of the table and give us grief.
God, don't even give him any ideas.
Oh, I wouldn't have done it.
See you in November.
Water and sewer, Troy, did you have anything?
No.
And Gordy, you have anything?
No.
Okay. Fire department? Fire chief?
No.
You
just
skipped me.
Open house.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
what did you have?
Well, we went to our, two things I think are of note. When Jenny was talking about
Oh, you did, I did.
acquiring territory.
Yep.
I think the MMPA haven't committed, but are willing to probably put some money in to help defray the costs of acquiring territory.
Really?
It's not cheap, and it gets real messy, ask Jenny.
Yeah.
It's,
We haven't gotten a bill yet, but yeah, I'm not anticipating it to be cheap.
So how do we
Well,
get some help from them?
yeah,
Trade
what I
properties.
told them the last time is we're trying to
They don't wanna give anything up.
acquire more territory, and she's already talked to some of the MMPA members, and it's gonna increase our load, so it does the MMPA good. So if you want us to increase our load, maybe you ought to be able to put in a little skin too, so that's that. The other thing of note is that, when they had that tornado down there, we got hit, and I would say moderate damage. So the unit is out until they get that back running. And the thing that got hit the worst were the water cooling towers, which means they can't run the plant without the cooling towers. So what they decided to do is to take an outage and go through all the generators and everything, because it's gonna take some time to get that all. Not cheap.
How long do they think it'll be down?
They don't know. It's like all contractors. They tell you you're coming and you don't know. They've got some insurance, so.
Good. Is there anything else, Pete?
That's it.
Troy, were you going to say something?
Just, we have open house on Saturday,
This Saturday.
this Saturday.
Very good. Nobody here from the
time?
ambulance?
No.
Okay. I don't see anything else on here, so I will,
I think it's 10 to 1 for the fire department.
Looking for
I
a
didn't want
motion.
to give you a wrong time, so that's why.
I have 10 to 1 on my calendar.
I sent you a check.
Looking for a motion?
yeah.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Dale's made a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second. I've got about 5 seconds here.
I chose Lyle.
Okay, wow, that's second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
That's right.
Thank you. So, Mr. Butler,